spring and summer months of May to July. Tree pollens tends to affect people from the months of March to May, and weed tends to pollinate in early spring to early autumn. The reasons you develop symptoms to the pollen is because your immune system reacts to it. Your nose and eyes have special cells that release a chemical called histamine when they come into contact with pollen. This causes your eyes and nose to become inflamed, and sometimes the sinuses and throat can also be affected. Who gets hay fever? Hay fever is very common. It affects about 2 in 10 people in the UK. It often first develops in children of school age and during the teenage years. Symptoms return for a season each year. But the condition eventually goes away or improves in many cases, often after having had symptoms each season for several years. Hay fever tends to run in families, and you are more likely to develop it if you already have asthma or eczema. Equally, if you have hay fever, you are more likely to develop eczema or asthma. The conditions asthma, eczema, and hay fever are known together as atopic conditions. What are the symptoms of hay fever? The severity of symptoms can vary from person to person. Most commonly, you are likely to experience runny, blocked, or itchy nose, sneezing, itchy and watery red eyes, itchy throat, headache. A diagnosis of hay fever can be made based on the symptoms. There are things you can do to help. Reduce your exposure to pollen by paying attention to the pollen forecast. If the pollen count is known to be high, then you should try to stay indoors with windows and doors shut. Avoid cutting grass or going camping. Take a shower after spending time outdoors. Wear sunglasses. Keep car windows closed. What are the commonly used treatments? You can try one or a combination of the following treatments to help reduce symptoms. Antihistamine tablets, steroid and/or antihistamine nasal spray, eye drops. The antihistamine tablets usually work within a few hours of taking them. It is a good idea to take one regularly to prevent symptoms from reoccurring. There are a few antihistamines that can make you drowsy, for example chlorphenamine, so don't use before operating heavy machinery or doing complicated tasks. Other examples of antihistamines are loratadine, cetirizine, fexofenadine. Steroid nasal sprays work quickly to reduce symptoms, however, take full effect after using them for a few days. It works by reducing inflammation in the nose, but also helps to ease eye symptoms. You can ask your local pharmacy or drugstore for a steroid nasal spray. Antihistamine nasal sprays are also good at providing quick relief of symptoms. Remember, you can use a combination of these treatments to help control your symptoms. Other hay fever remedies/treatment options. Montelukast is a leukotriene receptor antagonist which works by blocking effects of chemicals called leukotrienes which trigger hay fever symptoms. These can be prescribed by your doctor if deemed appropriate, and you can take them alongside your hay fever tablets. Nasal saline washouts or nasal irrigation can be used to wash the pollen out of the nostrils. You can get these from your local pharmacy or drugstore. If your symptoms are still not controlled by the treatment options discussed above, then a doctor may consider prescribing a short course of steroid tablets, for example, if there is an important event coming up and your hay fever symptoms are likely to interfere with it. If despite all these measures your symptoms are still not effectively controlled, then you will need to be referred to a specialist, for example an immunologist, for further management. And that, guys, is hay fever in a nutshell. I hope you, or someone you know, will be able to benefit from it. I am a full-time doctor, and I have made this channel to provide you with beneficial medical knowledge. Please consider subscribing if you have found this beneficial and for more useful content. I will be publishing a video on new topics weekly, so if you have any suggestions for future videos, then please leave a comment below. All the best, guys, look after yourselves and stay healthy.